Well, I respect the whole name thing because really all of our names are given to us by someone else.
Yeah, I guess.
And, well, of course, because your parents named you.
But how do you know the Lord didn't name you through the parents?
Well, I actually believe that our true name is the vibration of our soul.
Mm.
So, like, my name is Michael. That's just a phonetic way to identify me, but the name actually means one who was like God.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also an incredibly popular name. It's one of the most popular names in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really all that creative, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you aware of what Prince did with his name change?
You just put the symbol.
Yeah, but do you know why he did it?
I vaguely remember, but you can say it.
Well, I actually think this is part of his greatest performance.
Mm.
He was in a terrible record contract.
Yeah, he did it to get out of a contract. Or
they claimed that the record company claimed that they owned his identity.
Okay, yeah.
And so he said, okay. And so then as a result of that, they said, any music that you produce, because we own your entire identity, is therefore ours. And so he brilliantly said, okay, I'm going to change my name to an unpronounceable symbol. Guess what? I'm somebody different now. And again, when it's presented to us in popular culture, like I remember being like a little kid watching like Entertainment Tonight or whatever, and them talking about, crazy Prince, we won't let him. He won't let us call him Prince anymore. We gotta call him the artist formerly known as Prince. But really, he was totally right, and he was making an incredible statement. And in my mind, I enjoy some of his music, but in my mind, like that act, because by the way, what ended up happening was the record company let him out of his deal. And so then he changed his name back to his given name. But by the way, which is a huge victory and an awesome story. And in my opinion, that is Prince's greatest artistic work.
Right.
But yeah, going back to the whole name thing, it's like, you don't really name yourself.
I mean, you can come up with a nickname later in life and then insist that the people around you start calling you that. I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like we use words to communicate with each other.
Sure.
And so like, that thing you're wearing, like it's a shirt, right? But that's just a word that we've assigned to that thing. It's really an orchestration of different materials. That's what it truly is.
Correct.
And it's in a certain shape that fits your body, but what do you want me to do? Stop using the word body and shirt? And like it's just language. Like we use that to point to a thing. And
yeah, for
sure, names can be arbitrary that are, maybe our parents put more or less thought into, maybe they named you Michael because they wanted you to be, that of God or whatever. What does it mean again? Child of God? What's it?
One who is like God.
One who is like God. Right.
Yeah.
So, or maybe it's something that's just more aesthetic, like my mom, I feel like just liked the name Cameron. Didn't really.
Does Cameron have a meaning? Have you ever looked it up?
I've looked it up on one of those like silly sites a long time ago where it says like it means crooked nose.
Wait, there's a silly site on the internet?
Yeah. A lot of people think it means shrimp because of Cameroons in Spanish, Camarons in Spanish is shrimp.
Does it really mean crooked nose?
Yeah. But I think there is also like a nicer and cooler meaning to it too that I've just never bothered to really look into. I mean,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Although
I also find all that about like saying this name means that is also just kind of like arbitrary. Like, all right, who's saying? Like, it's like assigning meaning to dreams. It's more like it's really up to you who's having the dream to figure out what the meaning of a dream is, rather than some guy on the internet saying, "Yeah, if you have a dream where you're losing teeth, it's because you're gay." It's like,
I agree with that, but I would like to ask you: do you not believe in word magic?
What do you mean?
Well, that there's like false power in certain words, or that like certain words are presented to mean one thing when they really mean something else.
So I guess I wouldn't say that. So where my head goes with that is that what we use our mind to believe about a thing really matters in this case. So if you are really attached and fascinated with this idea of Michael meaning one who is like God, your mind from the conscious, starting with the conscious down to the subconscious, the unconscious, is going to start believing and behaving in a way. It's like, I am one who is like God. And you're going to start acting as though you truly believe that.
Yeah.
And so, if I think Cameron means a fucking piece of shit asshole, and I like really just believe that, and I like that, and I latch on to that idea, in 10 years, I'm probably going to be behaving more like a fucking piece of shit asshole. So, and then I guess maybe on the other side of that, the other thing it makes me think of is just sort of this like postmodernization of language, where like forever we had words that like mean a specific thing. Like the word racist is a really good example of like racist has always meant this very specific form of hate, where it's like,
I don't even think it means hate. It just means a person who recognizes race, right? We sort of attributed a hatred to it.
So that's what I say the postmodernization comes in. But I'm saying prior to the postmodernization of that word, racist really meant like you identify as your race and you think it is superior to other races, and you think less of races outside of your racial domain. Like that is what that's the particular meaning of racism and racist. But
can I jump in for a second?
Can I finish this thought?
Yeah.
So what the postmodernization of that word, and a lot of words like it, like sexist is another one, and there's a lot even outside of this domain of like hate speech and that kind of thing, of just like twisting words and making them have broader meanings. But now it has become like, okay, well now we're going to take this word racist, which actually used to mean something kind of shitty. You don't want to be racist historically what that word means, but now we're going to adapt it and make it say, if you recognize anything about race at all, if you make any comment, and then also if you're part of a particular race group, here's what you're allowed to say that's socially acceptable. And if you're outside of this race group and you're part of these race groups, you kind of have this level of freedom to say this about, like, it's become this mess of like postmodern twisting of the word and its meaning.
I would say racist is word magic, right?
Yes.
Why is it a race? You see, even the implicit notion of the word implies that there can only be one winner in a race. So you're going to self-identify with a group, and then you're going to look at everyone else that doesn't identify with you in that way as like some other. And in the construct, there's only one winner, right? Because in a race, only one team or person can win. So like, why don't we say like ethnicity or tone or hue or shade instead of race?
Yeah.
Like I would say that that's a perfect example of the word magic that goes on in this place.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel that what you've done there is you've played this linguistic trick. Like most people accept the word race to mean this specific thing that we've always used it for. But part of this postmodernization game is to take things that has always meant a certain thing and then start to pull it apart. And then, like race, it also means foot race, car race. And then, to me, I just feel like you've done like a trick there.
Well,
not to say anything positive or negative about it, but I feel that that's part of.
I feel like I'm just unveiling what's already there. And you could pick any word. How about blackmail? Why is blackmail associated with like extorting somebody?
Yeah, but
you know what I mean.
But see, so we can go into
that puts on negative connotations on blackmails.
Right.
Seriously.
I understand that thinking, but it's totally ignoring where the term actually comes from. It has no racial relations. And I think that that's a lot of what these like sort of woke corporations are doing. Like we're going to stop using the word blackmail because it has negative racial connotations. Like, no, the fuck it doesn't. Look up where the word comes from. Look at the origins of this thing. Like blackmail.
What is the origins? Do you know?
I don't know, but I know that it's not racial.
Well, okay, fair enough.
I mean, I
don't know what the origins are, but phonetically, it just feels weird to me. Like, why not just say extortion?
Yeah,
or whatever, or I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying though about the word?
Okay, but see, here's the thing, and here's something that I feel like I became very fascinated with and focused on, especially studying poetry, right? Because I went in there as someone who was like making films and doing comedy, and I felt like I was really I had a fascination with storytelling, and I felt like I've always been a bigger picture kind of guy. Like I can put together interesting stories that are engaging or whatever, and then I would admit that, you know, I'm not very detail oriented. I'm not very word focused. And so I want to change that. I want to become a little more in tune with word. And so the thing you learn with poetry, because it can be just as simple as words on a page, you have to really pay attention to specifically what words you're using. So my argument to you about why don't we just use extortion or why don't we just say ethnicity is because why don't we have a wide range of synonyms of different words that we can use to mean similar things but have nuanced differences, because the words themselves carry different sort of emotional reactions to them. See, now extortion sounds much more judicial. It sounds official. Like we're going to talk about you are legally being pinned with extortion charges.
Well, and it has to do with money too. And
yes,
blackmail doesn't have to be. Yeah,
exactly. So blackmail can. There's nuanced differences of what those things can mean and the limitations of what you can use to label them as this. But also, blackmail is more colloquial. You know, you would use that in a colloquial conversation, where extortion can sound, it has sharper edges to it. There's a different feeling to that word.
Yeah, you think it's like mob shit.
Yeah, so I think that this trying to get rid of these words that we think have these negative connotations and association, and limiting the words that we can say or that are socially acceptable to say, I think it's blasphemy in terms of diminishing and shaving off the beauty and diversity we have in language.
Yes, I agree that we should further develop our language to capture concepts, to refine our understandings to each other. And that is an evolution. It's an ongoing thing. And I also agree that we should never ban words. I guess you would say I'm a free speech absolutist.
Can I tell you a really funny one that I know? So another one, a word that they've banned in like corporate places because it has negative connotation, flip-flops. Because flip is a racial slur to Filipinos.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. I had no clue about
so you
that.
play this word magic game and it just gets ridiculous. I can't say flip-flops anymore.
Well, I'm not one for trying to regulate speech. I'm one for like within yourself recognizing what you're saying and who you're saying it to. So like here's another example, right? I don't feel great about the term hello.
Okay. Why? Hello does feel like an awkward greeting.
Because you're saying hell, like hell at the person, right? You're making the same phonetic sound. And also, I think it was invented by Bell during the telephone. It's like, who cares, man? You know? I don't think it's a great greeting. So, like, I'll say good day or good afternoon or good morning or, you know, good to see you or whatever. That's just one for me that I'm trying to like eliminate from my vocabulary. Not because anyone's telling me to, but just because like I'm recognizing that like you know what, this thing that's just floating around, I don't have to accept this.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to admit to you that this line of thinking about like being uncomfortable saying hello because hell is in the word, I just find it unreasonable. Like it's like, I'm not going to say vinegar anymore because the N word is inside that word. I have to use, you know, something else. Yeah. But you see how like it's just a little bit ridiculous.
Well, I mean, yes, like it sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous in this concept, but the overall,
we only have 26 letters. There's only so many ways to arrange them. There's going to be a lot of overlap.
The overall picture I'm trying to create is that I think that if we were all more discerning in the words that we used and understanding like the etymology and sometimes the intention behind the word, I believe affects the energy that goes out. So while your own intention, of course, like dominates the energy, I do believe that things can get twisted when people are utilizing things that are not of their own creation.
I suppose.
Does that make sense?
I suppose, but what do you expect people to do? Invent a whole new language per individual person?
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's plenty of words within English. English is there's many words within English. And we could always be inventing new ones.
Yeah, we do. We do that.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Make it our own.
We do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't even know what just happened, but
we settled it.
Yeah, I guess so. We basically just talked in circles to go like, what's happening currently is fine. What's happening currently and has always happened, yes.